It's a Henry pump action. I had one of their lever guns and I had problems with the extractor just not really grabbing the case heads and flinging them out, and I wanted something a little bit different, and this is kind of reminiscent of those little carnival guns. And in fact, if you shoot it with the CCI Quiet, you're actually hearing safe because it's at 62 decibels, which is well below hearing damage threshold. But because you're also operating the gun, it's not just going to fire one and then you got to work the slide kind of a thing like you do when you're shooting a semi-auto, since there's just not enough oomph in a lot of the subsonics. So I have a couple of different types of ammunition here. Going to try doing some different little loads. Or some different types of ammunition. It's been reliable for me, except for when I've been just a total dumbass and not put that in, and then it really hasn't been very reliable at all. So, as long as you're smart enough to work the gun the way it's supposed to work, the gun's been very reliable. And so that was 2 rounds of Winchester white box. Here's a couple of rounds of Velociter. Here's a couple of subsonic, RWS, then Gemtech. Then I'm going to do CCI long and CCI short. One of the things that I like about this is that it can shoot long, short, and long rifle. So you've got a lot of different, different capabilities here. And actually, since I'm just doing 2 on these, let me take 2 of the CCI Quiets as well. And I'll put that little box in there. Loading is standard Henry, where you've got to load it, just down the tube. Can be a bit of a pain, but, it gives your arm a break. When you're holding the arm, or when you're shooting this quite a lot, here's some 22 longs, your arm is extended out there and has to keep working the action. And because of that, you do get a little fatigued after you shoot about, 100, 200 rounds. Here's some 22 shorts. We'll see how many of those I can fit. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. I've got 12 of long rifle or 10 of long rifle, 2 of long. So far, I've got 2 of short. There's 4 short. The shorts can be kind of trippy. I had a little 2-inch barrel single action revolver and I was shooting it, and I was actually watching the bullet hit the target, just on its downward trajectory. Now with the longer, well, it helps I put in the right spot, the longer barrel, hopefully the velocities will be a little better than they were with that handgun, so hopefully I won't see it as I shoot it with this. You've got your little lever here to release it. Okay, and that brings up the round here in this little loading area. There are times where I've been shooting and I noticed you actually had to work the action twice to get the first round loaded. So this is the Winchester white box. Moving on to the Velociter. And now the subsonics, the RWS 2 rounds, Gemtech 2 rounds, and Quiet 2 rounds. Wow, that's quiet. I can actually hear the hammer striking because there's so little noise from the report. Yeah. Alright, so now we're into the longs, the 22 longs, which I'm not sure why you'd want to use. They actually cost more. I think I got this at Walmart, and it was $14 for a box of 22 longs, when, the boxes of some of the other ammunition, like the cheap Winchester there, was, $22 or something for 500 rounds. So I'm not sure why you'd want to use longs, but it can shoot longs. Which, when there was the ammunition panic and you couldn't get ammunition hardly at all, yeah, okay, shoot the 22 longs because it's ammunition you can get. Alright, now the 22 shorts, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, they really don't occupy a whole lot of space in there. And since I was smart enough this time to put in the little loader, they're actually where they're supposed to be. I was having trouble earlier and it was just all user error. Funny how that works. And again, you hear the click from the hammer. I'd be surprised if these 22 shorts, they say they're running 710 feet per second, I would be surprised if these are any louder than the CCI Quiet, which means you're talking 60-ish decibels, which is well in hearing safe range. So, did run into a bit of an issue, and it is where it's supposed to be. Did run into a bit of an issue where I've got one round kind of nosing down. I'd had this happen a little bit earlier, and it just didn't want to go in like it was supposed to. And I don't want to force it too much because I don't want to jam the bullet back into the case. So the 22 shorts are a little bit more difficult in terms of doing what they're supposed to. And I think that's it. I just wanted to make sure because earlier when I left my little tube out, I had some that were way down in there, and you could barely see them, but I'm not seeing anything in there now, so that should be empty. Let me do something real quick. I'm going to load just 2 rounds. I'm going to load a CCI Quiet and a short, so that way you can get an idea of the noise difference between them. The CCI Quiet will come out first, and then the little 22 short. And I'll try to shoot them back to back real quick, just so you can get an idea. But I think they'd be hearing safe. All right, so here's the 22. Or the CCI Quiet. Ha! Alright, new plan. And I think I'm going to have to cycle the gun twice to get it to go, just because of the nature of the action, how it works. I'm going to try to shoot the 22 short, and then do the 22 Quiet. I didn't hear any difference there, and so these are, kind of neat guns. I mean, I kind of like the whole, carnival type thing, where you had your little cans or whatever. The fact that you could shoot the 22 short and, theoretically, and the CCI Quiet without hearing protection, I mean, you don't have to buy a suppressor. You can just shoot out of this. Since you're the one working the action, you're not having to worry about the whether or not the round has enough oomph to work a slide. So, if you're interested in something a little bit different, kind of a call back to earlier years, they're a little more expensive than the lever guns. The lever guns, I think I see them at Walmart for about $300. You can expect to find this for about $400. It's a nice octagonal barrel. It's Henry quality and all that kind of stuff. Made in the USA. It says so right there. Made in the USA. It's different. So if you want a little different plinker, you might consider the Henry pump action rifle.